Jim-traficant's our guest. Congressman, I don't want to talk about myself, but I am in the middle of this, and I want to ask your advice. The ADL, the Southern Poverty Law Center, in the last 6 months or so have put out multiple reports apiece. They're now even saying Ron Paul is a terrorist enabler. They're saying Judge Napolitano is an extremist terrorist enabler. The MIAC Homeland Security reports that law enforcement sent us over a year ago say that gun owners, conservatives, returning veterans, I'm sure you've seen that in the news. Now we've gotten Army documents, and we've confirmed that they're following us around in the Fed rallies. We've confirmed that in these briefings for the military, they project my photo up and like I'm the kingpin or the godfather and say that I want cops to die and that I want the military. Just all lies. And the national news, Nightline, you name it, have been down here. CNN, I mean, the list goes on. And they keep saying on the news, and George Soros' outfit keeps saying, I'm calling for violence, when it's the opposite. What does that sound like to you? I mean, are they really getting ready to set me up?
It sounds to me as if you're a great American and you're making touch and contact with the average American, and they don't like it. Let me just say this, Alex. There's no doubt that you're doing that. Now, here's what you have to be concerned about. That any technicality could be brought against you, and my God, they can be very vicious. But let me say this. I think this is a badge of honor. My name was mentioned one time in an IRS review that said the American people shouldn't listen to Congressman Jim-traficant. He's just anti-government. And that was one of the biggest compliments I ever received. And I think this is a compliment to you because I think it shows you as a leader. Now, the downside is I don't like what they're doing to this Tea Party. These are average American people. They don't want to blow anything up, and they're not going out there and acting violently. And Alex Jones is not recommending that anybody go out and cause any violence, revolution in this country, and anybody with a bright mind and a reasonable mind understands that. But what they're trying to do is stop this movement, and the reason for it is very simple. The American people are fed up, and they should be. They should be fed up. And I think what you're doing is you're articulating the reasons why they're fed up. The problem with the Tea Party, to a degree, is they're so upset, but they don't really understand the total dimension of why they're upset. And number one, they're just opposing rather than advocating as well. But I think they're starting to evolve now, Alex, with leadership that they're hearing from individuals like yourself and from commentary made by you and some others, that they're starting to look and say, look, here's what we've got to do now. Here's what must be done in the country. And I think what we have underway is a powerful political revolution taking place in the United States of America, and I believe the powers that be are trying to stop it. They're trying to say that these people are radical, they're racist, they're bigots. Look, I've been hit with the anti-Semite business, the racist business, the bigot business, but listen to what I stand for. If you're an illegal immigrant in this country, you're not just an immigrant, you're an illegal immigrant, and you should be thrown the hell out. Enough is enough, and we shouldn't be paying health care to take care of people that are driving our costs up. So that makes me a bigot? Look, that's just the way it is. If you're an Hispanic American, you're a friend of mine. If you're an illegal immigrant, I don't care what nationality you are, you're not a friend of mine, and you should be thrown out. And we've got to do something about that, take care of our borders. I really feel sorry what's going on in Arizona and the way they're depicting Arizona. You know, I am the congressman, Alex, that passed putting 10,000 soldiers on our border and keeping people out and keeping drugs out. And listen, these soldiers are overseas in Germany and in Japan and in Korea. They're going to the theater and going to lunch. They're guarding the borders in the Mideast. And God, our borders are wide open. What kind of national security and homeland security does America have? This is a joke. Both of these parties are basically trying to seduce this growing minority population of Hispanics into a voting bloc, and it's larger now than the African-American community. Enough is enough. Let's take care of our government. Call us what you want, but I just pray to God that you just continue to do what you're doing. The reason they're focusing on you is you're effective.
And that's the reason they focused on you, and that's what's scary. I don't want to go to prison with them setting me up for something.
Don't think that is that's forlorn. Here's the thing I could be concerned about. You know, I don't know what your relationship is with your network, but there'll be people behind the scenes trying to take that microphone away from you because you're having an impact. I know. Let me tell you how I know about it. I can't explain to you how many times people have said to me, I heard your comments on the Alex Jones show. I'm very proud of you. I agree with you. Thank you for doing the Alex Jones show. We think Alex does a great job. We were surprised you're on there. Some people may be afraid to be on there, and they say, we don't know why, but we're glad you were on there, Jim. And people, but the bottom line is, I've heard this all over, people commenting about this everywhere I go, Alex. So you're reaching people, and I think you're reaching people with an intelligent approach, and there's certainly no doubt in my mind you're not advocating any type of violence or anything.
None of us are. Congressman, thank you for your kind words on that subject and your advice. Let's come back in to get into some other issues, but continue to discuss where you see this nation going and talk about Oklahoma City 15 years later. We'll be right back with James Traficant. Jim Traficant, former congressman, is our guest. Mexico has collapsed because of their phony drug war. It's totally criminal. There's murders, ranchers being killed, Texas, Arizona. I mean, it's a mess. And then meanwhile, Washington Post, human rights observers killed in an attack in Mexico. And it talks about all over Mexico, they're shutting the power and water off to Indian groups that live down there. Mexico's very racist towards the Indian population. I don't know why. I mean, the folks in Mexico are Indian and Spanish mainly. And some Germans that immigrated there during the colonial system. And then here's another one. Mexico acknowledges migrant abuse, pledges changes. I mean, they don't give free welfare to any people. They arrest illegals instantly. I, as an American, can't go down there with my wife and have a baby and have it all paid for. I mean, this is a sick joke, Congressman.
Absolutely. Alex, you're right on target. I think we even have to change the Constitution. If someone comes across our border illegally for the purpose of having a child and having an American citizen, I think that should be changed, and the citizenship should be denied, and the woman should be removed from the country. Enough is enough. No one realizes, we had a case up here in Northeast Ohio, just real quick, Alex, where a fellow went in with a card and got a surgery on his pancreas. And 10 days later, another fellow came in with the same card to get surgery, and they did the surgery. They didn't realize it until they checked the paperwork. And they were both illegal, can't find them, and did two particular surgeries that the American people, our people up here, ended up paying for. I mean, this is in our own backyard. Now, imagine what this is like in voting booths with fake IDs, fake driver's license, fake Social Security card. It's gone too far. And now we're talking about making citizens amnesty out of illegals who jump the fence. My God, Alex, this is putting a neon sign right on the border saying, hey, jump the fence, and eventually you become an American citizen. Gone too far.
Well, the feds are financing illegal checkpoints to the states everywhere. All this Arizona law says is that if they have suspicion and then you're an illegal, when they pull you over for drunk driving or whatever it is, that the state's going to take you to the feds. I mean, all that's doing is enforcing the law. Since when are states not supposed to, if they catch somebody committing a federal crime, to not arrest them?
Amen. It's the United States of America, not the federal government of America. And let me say this on your show. I support the Arizona law, because the reason for the Arizona machination is simple. The federal government has failed to act on behalf of the American people. The federal government's job is for national security. And how the hell can you have national security with a border that's not secure? Someone tell me that. So I support what they're doing in Arizona, and they've got to stand up. This is a microcosm of the failed policies of America. Bring the American people's attention to it. Now, the mainstream media is making Arizona look like racist, look like bigots, and they're going to lose conventions, and they're going to lose money. Look, the bottom line is the federal government has caused this problem for Arizona and for all these border states. The federal government should be taking the brunt of the attack. And that's why they don't like Alex Jones, and that's why they don't like Jim Traficant, because the truth of the matter is very plain for us to see. The federal government has failed to secure our borders. How can you have a Homeland Security border program with a border wide open, Alex?
Well, what do you think about Obama announcing yesterday he's sending SWAT teams to, quote, all the oil rigs, and some Reagan administration officials are on record saying they believe this is greasing the skids for the feds nationalizing oil?
I wouldn't be surprised. The way the country's going, we've nationalized everything. Just keep this in mind. General Motors, government motor stock, is now trading at 27 cents a share. Let's be honest about this. We have buoyed up a false economic illusion here. All of these new hires they're talking about, Alex, were census workers. Now you've got a health bill with, listen to this, 159 new boards, programs, and entities to be created, more IRS enforcement, plus an additional 16,500 IRS employees to be hired at a cost of $1.7 trillion. All of these jobs, we have more government workers than factory workers already, and this is a false illusion. I think the best thing that could be done is the states have got to put their foot down here, and that we have no more states' rights. They're background music in a doctor's office, and maybe Arizona will highlight the issue of the United States of America. Remember, there used to be a nation known as USSR, and now they broke up. Don't think we can't implode, and I predict that. I predict, unless there's a direct intended change in taxes that starts to reward work, that we're going to implode. It's just a matter of time.